comments I keep getting on my videos is, what is the #1 tip you would give new piano players? And I think that's always a fantastic question. You know, most of the time in a lot of disciplines, there's always one thing that seems to really benefit newer members of whatever community that you're a part of, and piano playing is absolutely no exception. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the #1 thing I think most piano players need to succeed more on piano. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. If you guys have any requests for covers or anything else you'd like to know about on piano, leave it down in the comments. But, you know, let's head right over to the piano. Okay team, I'm going to play the same song 2 times, and I want you guys to tell me what the difference between these 2 playthroughs were. Okay, let's get at it. Awesome, now let's play it one more time through. Awesome. The big difference between the two, the dynamics. Now you might be wondering, what are dynamics, Gavin? And that's a fantastic question. Dynamics really just means the volume, and the volume of the notes that I am playing. That's what it means right there. That was so robotic. I don't know why. A really good example to demonstrate this kind of concept of dynamics is just playing a single chord. So what the chord I will be choosing is this like C major 9 chord right here. Right? We can either play it really softly or really loudly. And all dynamics is kind of really breaking it down just how hard you press on the keys, right? If you're really attacking the keys, really just being like, bah, 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 you know, of course it's going to be really loud. Well, if you're playing the keys really gently, it's going to be a lot quieter. And a big mistake I see a lot of beginner piano players make is that they do not necessarily switch between the two of these very much. They either stay very loud the whole time or very shy the whole time. And showing that you have the ability to control your dynamics, jumping between something really quiet and something really loud, is so important once you start to improve your piano playing. It's the difference between a beginner and an intermediate, the difference between an intermediate and an advanced. It's really all there is to refining your skills on piano. And dynamics can play such an important part in improv as well. And this is something I noted in my improv video of, you know, making sure while you're improving not to just be playing at one volume the whole time, you know? Let's say I'm playing like a quieter piece, right? You know, if there's an impactful moment like a big chord change, maybe I want to spice up the volume and then go right back down. Now, more commonly, it's easier to play the higher notes quieter, and the lower notes, it's easier to play louder, just because of the nature of the resonance of those notes, right? So playing low notes quietly, a little bit challenging. Playing high notes quietly, a little bit easier. So we need to keep that in mind while we're improvising, you know, especially while you're playing too. You don't want to, you know, try to be super even with all of your key presses everywhere, or else, you know, you might end up with a line that's like this loud in the bass line and it's just really quiet in the high end and it'll overpower everything. So you got to keep that in mind too. One big thing that I had given to me as an analogy while playing piano is think of it like a movie, right? When you're watching a movie, like an action movie, I don't know, like Star Wars or something, right? The entire movie isn't just sword, lightsaber fighting the whole time. I don't know why I said sword. It has peaks, valleys, you know, it starts at a beginning level, you know, moderate level, and then it rises up, and then it gets real down, and then it goes all the way back up to the middle. And doing that makes the climaxes even more impactful. If there was just action the entire time, you would get really just bored the entire time because it's just stuff happening, you know? But having a kind of, you know, slow to start and then, you know, something going on, maybe a little bit quieter, and then finally rising up to that really big chord at the end, the freaking something like that, really important, right? So make sure you're not just playing at one volume the whole way through. You got to make sure you got your peaks and valleys going on here, or else you're just going to sound kind of stagnant on piano. One common mistake I hear a lot too is a lot of people think that if you play piano quietly, it means that you're unconfident. And I really disagree with this notion. You know, I think people who play piano very quietly, very carefully, are some of the most skilled piano players out there, you know? When I hear someone playing like... I don't even know the notes, but quietly compared to someone who's just like, adds a whole nother level of skill to it, being able to play it delicately, and especially being able to choose when you want to play something delicately and when you want to actually really enunciate it, really shove it out there, really, you know? So that's really all there is in this video to talk about. There's not really too much else. Just make sure while you're playing piano, if you really want to level up your skills, keep in mind the dynamics. It's so important and really easy to overlook when you're learning. You know, especially when you first start out, it's really easy to just be focusing on like, okay, I got to play the right notes here and the right notes here, or else it's going to be all over, and like right rhythms. But also keeping in mind your dynamics from an early stage will help be a great fundamental for your piano playing long term. It'll help you so much. So, you know, while you're starting out, really focus on sometimes being like, okay, maybe I'll just play quietly today, you know? And other days, you know, if your issue is just playing too quietly, well, maybe you'll play loud all day. The piano is a very versatile instrument. You don't have to be gentle with it. Don't be afraid of hitting the keys hard, but also don't be afraid of being very gentle with everything. So yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. You guys have any other ideas for videos? Let me know in the comments. I almost said description. That's crazy. Anyway, thank you guys so much. Y'all are fantastic, and I hope you're having a wonderful day.